Young Caesar.
In 2014, a crime in New Orleans East sent shockwaves through the community, a tragedy that left a family mourning and neighbors grappling with fear. Today, over a decade later, a key chapter in this story has come to a close. A man has been sentenced to 20 years in prison after taking a plea deal for his role in the murder of a local figure affectionately known as Vamp. This case wasn't just another statistic in the city's crime history. Vamp, reportedly a cousin of Birdman Williams, the CEO of Cash Money Records, tying the tragedy to one of the most influential families in the music industry. The murder gained widespread attention and added a layer of heartbreak to an already devastating loss. What happened in 2014?
The victim is 43-year-old Clarence Wilson, better known as Cash Money Vamp, an established and respected hip-hop promoter. Cousin to Cash Money Records CEO Birdman, Vamp had been successfully managing artists across the country.
Just coming back from promoting the show. Just hadn't been home, not even a good hour.
It was a quiet night in New Orleans East, but in an instant that peace was shattered. Vamp was killed in what investigators described as a violent act of senseless aggression. Details of that night remain haunting for many who lived nearby. The aftermath was filled with grief, shock, and an outcry for justice, not just for Vamp, but for all the victims of violence in New Orleans. The city, already grappling with high crime rates, felt the weight of this incident. For Vamp's loved ones, the pain of his loss was compounded by the difficulty of seeing the case drag on for years without resolution. His death became more than just a headline, it became a symbol of the community's fight against violence and the long, painful road to justice. What made this case even more significant was its connection to Birdman Williams, the music mogul behind Cash Money Records. As one of the biggest figures in hip-hop, Birdman's connection to Vamp brought national attention to the case. The public watched closely as investigators worked to piece together what had happened. This connection also added immense pressure to law enforcement and prosecutors. High-profile cases often attract scrutiny, and this was no exception. It wasn't just about solving a crime, it was about proving that justice could be served, no matter how long it took. The investigation into Vamp's murder wasn't straightforward. For years, detectives sifted through evidence, followed leads, and interviewed witnesses. As time passed, the case grew colder, leaving many to wonder if justice would ever be achieved. But law enforcement never gave up. This persistence eventually led to a breakthrough, and the man responsible for the crime was brought into custody. After years of waiting, Vamp's family could finally see some progress in the search for accountability. The courtroom became the stage for the next chapter of this story. In a dramatic turn of events, the defendant accepted a plea deal, agreeing to a 20-year prison sentence. This marked a significant moment for Vamp's family and the New Orleans community, a moment of closure after years of uncertainty. While a plea deal might not feel like complete justice to some, it represented a compromise that allowed the case to reach its conclusion. Prosecutors often pursue plea deals in cases like this to avoid the risks of a trial, ensuring that the perpetrator is held accountable for their actions. For Vamp's family, the sentencing brought mixed emotions. There was relief that the case had been resolved, but also sadness that no sentence could ever bring him back. Vamp's murder is a stark reminder of the challenges facing New Orleans. The city has long struggled with crime, and incidents like this highlight the devastating impact violence can have on families and communities. The tragedy has also sparked conversations about the need for stronger crime prevention measures, better community support systems, and more resources for law enforcement. It's a painful but important dialogue, one that could lead to meaningful change if the right steps are taken. For New Orleans, this case isn't just about one family's loss. It's about a community that refuses to be defined by violence. Vamp's death has become a symbol of resilience, A reminder that even in the face of tragedy, the pursuit of justice is worth the fight. His family continues to honor his memory, not just by seeking accountability, but by working to prevent others from experiencing the same pain. Their story is one of strength, determination, and love, a powerful message in a world too often divided by violence. As this chapter comes to a close, the focus now shifts to the future. How can communities like New Orleans East heal from the trauma of violence? What steps can be taken to prevent tragedies like this from happening again? These are the questions that remain, and they're questions worth exploring. Justice has been served in the courtroom, but the journey toward healing is far from over. Vamp's story will live on, not just as a tragic headline, but as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. If you found this story impactful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on cases like this. We'll continue to bring you stories that matter, stories of justice, loss, and the ongoing fight for peace in our communities.